So when I first got here on a visit, I'm not gonna lie, who wouldn't come to Xavier? It's a great program. The coaches, great coaching staff. Everybody care about each other. They treat the player well. They show love, the fans, everything. A great school too. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, wow, what else am I looking for? You know what I'm saying? Obviously, we got a great head coach too, Coach Sean Miller here.
This is the Sean Miller Podcast, presented by Deer Park Roofing. Now, here's your hosts, Paul Fritchner and Adam Baum, with the head coach of the Xavier Musketeers, Sean Miller.
Welcome into another episode of the Sean Miller Podcast. Paul Fritchner alongside Adam Baum, the head coach of the Xavier Musketeers, Sean Miller. And as always, we are presented by Deer Park Roofing and the official payroll sponsor of the Sean Miller Podcast, Payroll Partners. To my left is another transfer here to the Xavier Musketeers. And before I introduce you, I'm going to give you an opportunity here because on the roster, your name is listed as Lassina, but on all your social media, you're Basile.
Yes, sir.
So I want to give you a chance to look in the camera and talk to the fans and let them know what you want to be called this year and maybe explain the background of Basile.
Obviously, I want to be called Basile, and I got a nickname when I was younger. Where I'm from, I had a lot of Christian friends, by the way. So I'm a Muslim. So I wanted to have a Christian name for myself, to be around my friends, so because they all got Christian names. And back in Africa, we got a lot of calendars, and it's all Christian calendars. So one day I was sitting at home with my friends. I had one of those calendars in my hands, and I started looking at the names, and I saw the name Basile, and I kind of liked it. And I told my friends to start calling me Basile, and that's really why everybody call me Basile now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Welcome, Basile.
Basile.
Yep.
I think the other part is, Africa obviously is a huge continent. Could you explain where you're from? Obviously I know Ivory Coast, but like where it's located, what the weather's like. If you had, for example, a place to compare it to climate-wise, like the way the weather is, would it be more like here in Ohio? Would it be more like California? Could you bring to life, where you're from?
I'm from West Africa in Ivory Coast. I'm from the north. I was born in a small town called Korogo. That's in the northern Ivory Coast. Grew up it's a small city, not a lot of people, but we got a good amount of people still. And went to school there, everything, and then my parents, all my family stayed in Korogo, and then I had to move to Abidjan. That's where I really started playing basketball, but we're going to get to that, I guess, later. I went to Abidjan, and then from there I left to Canada. But the weather in Ivory Coast is like California in summertime.
Okay.
It's really hot. Even 2 months ago, I went back to see my family after 4 years. It was really, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't used to the weather no more. It was too hot.
Yeah.
I was sweating every time. I had to take a lot of showers.
So is it more like desert or more like humid?
It's not really humid. It's like desert.
More desert.
Yeah.
More desert.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in the winter, does it snow? Does it get cold weather?
Nah, it don't snow in Africa, but it get cold.
It does.
But not as much as here, for sure.
Yeah.
No. It get cold for sure.
Yeah.
So English isn't your native language, but you were telling, how many languages do you speak? And when did you start speaking English?
Now I speak 3 languages. I have my native language called Bambara, and then obviously everybody speak French in Ivory Coast. I speak French, and then I speak now English. I started speaking English in 2020 when I first got to America. That August 2020. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to Florida.
That's crazy.
That's
40.
man.
Here we are in August. 4 years.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I think that's one of the understated aspects that people don't realize in our country, because we don't know another language, right? We're not doing what you're doing. So we're not leaving here, going to Ivory Coast and having to learn a different language. And because we don't do that,
Right.
we underestimate all that comes with learning a new language coming from another country like yourself, because every time that you read something, right?
Right.
I mean, all the different things academically, just living life, things that we take for granted, you're always processing what does that mean in your new language as you look to do it, you know?
Yeah.
We had a player here a long time ago, and my hope is that you have a chance to meet him. His name is Romain Sato, and he was from the Central Africa Republic. Okay, that was Romain's home country. In around final exams for multiple years, he was a great shooter. He would always struggle, like in the games, the final non-conference games before Christmas and the holiday break. And then we would go through Christmas, come into conference play, and then he would just like get this new energy. And finally, like, we asked him, like, Romain, why is it every year it seems like you get in a slump right around final exams or right before the holidays and the non-conference? He said, Coach, that's when final exams, and when I read, it takes me longer because I'm reading in a different language, and it just, especially at the beginning, it's taking me sometimes an hour or 2 hours where it might take another student 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And he goes, it wears on me.
Right.
And when he told me that, I was just like, I can't believe that he had to tell me that. Why wouldn't we know that about him? And I'm sure you go through the same thing.
For sure. Even when I first got here, it was super, super hard for me. I couldn't communicate with nobody. I couldn't speak, obviously, no English. So every time somebody tell me something, I have to translate in French to be able to understand, and then put it in French again and translate it in English so the person can understand me.
Right.
It was super hard. But I feel like because I was around my teammates a lot and my coaches, I had to adjust it quick.
Right.
So on the court, the coach only speak English. My teammates only speak English. At school, everybody speak only English. So I have to learn faster so I can catch up and so I can understand on and off the court, so I can really be able to communicate with people in the classroom and on the court too.
Yeah.
So
Basile.
I tell you what, you do a great job speaking it right now.
Appreciate
If you wouldn't have given us the background on that, how you speak is very fluent, easily understood, and it's admirable how far you've come in such a short period of time. Not to mention what Paul said, you're not speaking just 2 languages, you actually can speak 3.
It's crazy. But my native language, I really speak that more often with my family. So every time I talk to my mom and dad and my brothers from back home, I have to speak my native language.
Yeah.
Also, so I don't want to lose it. So because every time I speak with them, I don't think I will lose it anyway. So.
No, it's very impressive. And on top of that, I think it's going to be cool. Eventually we will get to how you ended up here and why you're at Xavier. But on top of what else is impressive to me is the fact that, you had to arrive at a point in your life where you said, I'm going to leave home. I'm going to leave my family behind. I'm going to go to this place where I can't speak the language, and I'm going to try to make it as a basketball player. Can you walk us through, was that scary? How did you arrive at that place in your life?
Honestly, it wasn't scary. I would say it was more so a blessing for me. Growing up in Africa, my life has always been challenging, and I wasn't. I'm gonna just put it like that. My family is not rich, and so I have always had that idea to be able one day to help my family. And I didn't start playing basketball until I was 15. So when I started playing, I started learning faster. People started seeing potential in me, and then I started really developing quicker. So in my head, I'm like, okay, there's something here I can, I can really learn it. And so I started having aspiration to be a professional basketball player. And then thank God I had the opportunity to leave to go to Canada. I was super, super grateful and blessed. Because back home in Africa, honestly, people will do anything they can to be in my position right now. So I'm not taking it for granted. I know what I want to do in life. I know what I'm here for. So it was more so, I'm leaving my country. I'm going to America. I want to be able one day to go back and help my family, my community, my brothers, everybody. That's really my mindset when I was leaving. I just want to be able to accomplish my goals and make my family proud and take care of them. That's really yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, Coach, to hear a player like Basile talk about that, and when you want to recruit somebody right, with the right mindset to accomplish those kinds of goals and finding the right player to fit at Xavier. I don't know if you can get an answer much better than that one.
No, for sure. And determination and hunger, desire, passion are all things that, in a recruiting process that, every coach loves to have players that have those qualities. And, Basile, before we ever even met and talked, just if you watched him play at Long Beach State, you could tell his effort level and his unselfishness in the way he played at Long Beach State, especially last year. All the qualities that he just talked about, you could see that desire on the court. And that's one thing that I want to bring up, because I would love for you to be able to tell the story. Here you are last year at Long Beach State, and towards the end of the season, before it's completely over, before you guys get to your conference tournament, your coach, who I know you really respected and liked, who recruited you to Long Beach State, been there a long, long time, gets fired, but they allow coach and his staff to coach in the conference tournament.
Right.
I mean, could you walk us through how that felt, you, your teammates, and then here you guys go into the conference tournament and you win it, and you become a part of March Madness, and you're in the NCAA tournament, and coach still had lost his job. You get ready to play Arizona in the NCAA tournament in the first round. But when you think back to all that, describe it.
Honestly, it wasn't a good feeling at first when we was hearing the rumors, coach might get fired after the season, he might get fired and stuff. So last day of the season, they decided to part away. And the following day, I think we were supposed to leave in 2 days to go to Vegas for the conference tournament. And then he called everybody in the locker room. We sat down, and he told everybody that the school decided to part away. And obviously, it wasn't like, it was emotional. Mm-hmm. Everybody was emotional. Obviously, we had his son on the team too. He was even crying. Yeah, he was crying. It was really like crazy feelings, and everybody was down. But he told us he was still gonna stay with us for the conference tournament. Mm-hmm. So he said he's gonna try to finish it up with us, and everybody was down. Nobody wanted to play no more at that point. So we had a meeting. The leaders in the team, including myself. And we had a meeting. We said, the way things are going right now, it's not really good. And we're not going to let our coach down right now. And they decided to part away. It's not only his fault, obviously. He's not on the court playing basketball. Yeah. Me and include my teammates, we on the court making mistakes and losing games. Obviously, he got something to do with it, but we have to take responsibility of what we have done too. We haven't been playing great. So we decided to really tighten up and put our effort and come together so we can go to Vegas and try to win it all for our coach, so he don't leave the school just like that. We wanted him to leave as a champion, and we wanted to go to March Madness for him. So that's really the reason everybody got motivated, and then we went to Vegas. First game, we was excited. We say, okay, we have to do that for the coach. We're doing this for the coach. We won the first game. Second game comes. My brother fasting and myself too. We was doing Ramadan. Him and I Muslim, so we were fasting. It wasn't really easy. You know what I'm saying? We not eating in the morning. We're going through it all day without food, no water. So we have to push ourselves. In my roommate at the hotel room, we talking to each other, we motivating each other. We say the team needs us, bro. Yeah. We have to go out and compete and win for the coach and for the team. We won the second game. Last game was, I'm like, we're here now. We're not looking back, we're not looking ahead. We have to win this game. That's the only thing that matters right now. We win the game. We won the game. It was a super. I can even describe the feeling on us. Well, it was a crazy feeling.
First of all, that feeling alone is maybe in sports one of the best feelings you can be a part of. Making March Madness as a college basketball player. Right. But considering that 4 days earlier, that might be the single worst feeling you can have as a player or coach, that things didn't go well. And they lost their job, and what do we do? You went from the worst feeling maybe to the best feeling in 4 days. It was a great story. I think everybody in the world that follows college basketball was pulling for you guys. And
Sure.
yeah, and that's when, for me, I really saw Basile for the first time. And when you think about what he did at Long Beach, and I want to mention this, he's one of the few players, not just this past year, but if you go through multiple years, that averaged a double-double. 10 rebounds and 10 points, more than 10 rebounds and 10 points in over a season. And, for me, this is my 20th team. I've had 2 players that have ever done that, DeAndre Ayton and Ryan Anderson. And Ryan's, here on our staff. Yeah. But that shows you how difficult it is to average a double-double. And I think that's something that obviously we've already seen Basile bringing to the table, and excited to have that part of his game with us.
So, Basile, you start at St. Louis,
right.
Then you go to Long Beach State.
Yep.
Now you're here at Xavier. Just to give the fans listening a little bit of history about you. Now here's at your third school. When you were deciding this offseason in the transfer portal where you wanted to go, you hear from Sean Miller, you hear from Xavier. What stood out, and why did you pick Xavier?
One thing about me, obviously, I'm not American. I'm not from America. I'm from Africa. You know what I'm saying? I don't have no family here. I have a host family in California. So if I'm looking to go to a place where I will live in a certain period of time, I'm really big on family, like how they care about people, how they treat people. So when I first got here on a visit, I'm not gonna lie, who wouldn't come to Xavier? Mm-hmm. It's a great program. Mm-hmm. The coaches, great coaching staff. Everybody care about each other. They treat the player well. They show love, the fans, everything. A great school too. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, wow, what else am I looking for? You know what I'm saying? Obviously, we got a great head coach too, Coach Miller here. I'm like, bro, I'm not looking for no other place. I'm just here. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't a hard decision for me, honestly. I just fell in love with the program and everything. So that's why I decided to come over here.
Your favorite restaurant in Cincinnati? Forget your favorite restaurant. So that'll be question number 2.
Right.
Question number 1, is there a restaurant or a place in Cincinnati you found that reminds you of home?
Right, yeah, most def. A lot of different places too.
Yeah.
But the first name that comes straight in my mind is the restaurant name is Terenga. Terenga is, I think it's like 10, 12 minutes away from here. And it's amazing too.
Yeah.
I'm always DoorDashing food. I ain't gonna lie. My DoorDash.
You gotta take Coach.
And
we gotta go there.
Yeah. And then also there's a place named it's a Jamaican.
Yummy Express.
Yummy Express.
Yeah.
Yummy Express. There's
this guy.
Adam and I looked at going into there.
A lot of good choices.
Good.
Yeah,
I feel like the food scene in Cincinnati, Basile, is underrated. There's a lot of great food. No matter what you're looking for, I think you can really find it. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad that
I'm African, so first thing I did when I got here, looking for an African restaurant where I can find it. Yeah, I found some couple, so I'm enjoying food, man. I can't complain.
Great.
I can't complain.
Me and Paul had the chance to spend some time with Basile and get to know him, and we've talked about your journey here, the fact that you move away from home, you leave your family, you come to a place where you didn't speak the language. All that stuff is beyond impressive to me as someone who was born in Cincinnati, raised in Cincinnati, and I've never really left. But the other thing that I found really fascinating about your situation is your family has never watched you play basketball.
Right. Never.
Which is just, you think about it, you've taken this giant leap to come here and try to accomplish this thing. And the people that you're trying to do this for have never gotten to watch you play. That's just crazy to me.
Yes, it is, because when I really started learning basketball, I got into it. I was in Korogo, and I moved like a month or 2 later. I moved to Abidjan. My family and my mom, dad, my brothers all stay in the other city in Korogo. So when I went to Abidjan, I started playing more and more, and I live with my auntie, so she not gonna she kind of she older, so she's not gonna move it on, go watch my game. My cousin, nobody ever see me playing, and they really, I don't want to say they didn't support me in my journey, but they wasn't really caring too much about it because they're like, oh, he's just going to play basketball. You know what I'm saying? He just, because basketball is not really a big sport in Africa. It's mostly soccer.
Yeah.
So people really, I don't want to say they didn't care, but you know what I'm saying? They didn't pay too much attention until I started to have opportunities to leave the country, to go to America, to start playing. And then they started hearing here and there, oh, Basile, it kind of good, but they never see me play at all, ever. And even when I got to America also, even last year, my 2 years in Long Beach State, nobody ever watched me play because of the Wi-Fi situation back home. It's hard for my families to get it. I don't know, but I couldn't find the links to send back home so they can watch me play, and also the time difference. Well, last year when I was in Long Beach, it was like 7 or 8 hours difference. So when I'm playing, they're sleeping.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When they're up, I'm sleeping. So it was too much going on. So I'm going to
tell you, I believe that we'll be able to get them the opportunity to watch you this year. First of all, you're 3 hours closer.
Yeah. Now the time difference is not too big. It's like 3 or 4 hours.
And when you go through the different networks we're going to be on and those things, that'll be a big difference.
Yeah.
That'll be something I think we'll be able to accomplish.
They would love to watch me play.
So you mentioned picking up basketball a little bit later in your life.
Right.
One thing you always played, and you and I have talked a lot about this. You've talked a lot about this with Adam too.
Right.
Soccer. That was always your thing, and then you grew up.
Right.
And then you got taller. So you still, what's the soccer situation with you, and how good are you still?
I ain't gonna lie, I'm still nice, man. I still got skills. If you put me on the field right now, I can give you like 3 or 4 goals. You know what I'm saying? I'm still good. I can never lose.
So we went to FC Cincinnati game.
Right.
What was did you like the stadium?
Yeah.
Were you surprised? Did you like the level of play? How would you?
I mean,
what was your impression?
They're professional. They're nice.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, okay. I'm not gonna say too much trash, but the stadium was beautiful. Everything was amazing. That was my first time really actually going to a stadium, that type of stadium. So I was really amazed. Just watched the whole game, and the team was good. I mean, unfortunately, they lost. Yeah. I mean, they would have done better if I was on the field. You feel me? But it's all good though. It's all good.
So you played your whole life before you picked up basketball?
Yeah. Was there since I can't even remember 3, 4, 5. The thing is in Africa, every kid plays soccer. Like it's like basketball in a state. So growing up, I used to play soccer 24/7, like every time.
Yeah.
I was in the little academy just learning soccer. I wanted to be a professional soccer player. That was my aspiration when I was younger. And then when I hit 15 or 14, I got too tall.
Yeah.
And back home, everybody kind of know Michael Jordan. So they started calling me Jordan because I'm too tall. So they started calling me Jordan. Oh, you need to play basketball. I used to hate my height. I didn't want to play basketball at all. Like, I never wanted to play basketball. But one of my friends that used to go play a little bit at the park. So because in Korogo where I was born, we didn't have no big, no stadium, like no court, basketball court. So we was always outside. So he was trying to tell me, come play with me. So that's really why I'm like, okay, let's go try. You know what I'm saying? He started showing me how to shoot, how to dribble. And then I'm like, okay. I started playing a little bit. Yeah.
Christian Coloco, I coached at Arizona. It's just so amazing. Listening to you talk, you sound exactly like him because that's what happened to him. He became 7 feet tall, but his favorite sport, and still I believe is still his favorite sport, is soccer.
Yeah.
You know, his coordination, a lot like you, is running. He developed that, I think, playing soccer, and then all of a sudden you guys get to the basketball court at a taller size, and you wonder why you're so agile and so coordinated. Well, it goes back to that soccer background.
For sure.
The Sean Miller Podcast is proud to partner with Deer Park Roofing, a company that's provided elite service for homes and businesses since 1996 and leads the industry in professionalism, quality, and responsiveness. Whether your needs are residential or commercial, like the outstanding work on the Cintas Center, the home of Xavier basketball, Deer Park can handle any job and ensure it's done right. Deer Park's motto is protect what's important. And what's important to you is important to Deer Park Roofing. Visit deerparkroofing.com. Stop renting your power, own it. TGE Solar makes it easy to purchase solar panels for your home or business so you can take control of your monthly electricity bill and start saving today. They'll help you find the best solar system to meet your needs, and their expert in-house installation team makes the process seamless. They're proud to be based in Cincinnati, family owned and operated by a Xavier alum. Mention this podcast and save $1,000. Visit TGESolar.com to request your free energy evaluation today. Well, Basile, we really appreciate you coming on and joining the podcast today. Before I let you go, do you have any questions for Coach?
Yes, sir. I wanted to ask you, have you ever been to Africa?
No.
No?
I want to go, though.
No, you sure. Most
Yeah.
def.
Where should he go?
Ivory Coast. Come on, that's the dumbest question that's the dummest question
That's the
you've
best
asked.
country in Africa.
I just wanted you to say
Best country in Africa. By far, too. You're going to enjoy everything. You're going to enjoy everything. And what else do you do outside of basketball? Like, what is...
What do I do outside of basketball?
That's a great question.
Yeah. So, Basile, you probably have already sensed this. I'm very one-dimensional. I am. Like basketball, watching film, coaching, thinking about it, sometimes probably too much. So that would be my starting point on my answer. It's not like I'm Mr. Well-rounded with a lot of interest.
Right.
However, I will tell you that I've picked up golf recently.
Okay.
And I've gotten better. I enjoy it.
We played.
Adam's seen me play. So
Okay.
that'll be one thing that I think not only do I enjoy doing, I believe I'm going to do more of that. I played Madden.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Do you play Madden?
Nah, I play FIFA.
Yeah.
I'm good.
I may try FIFA. I already know the
Me
outcome.
too. I'm gonna put you on.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
but,
put you on FIFA.
That probably won't go good. but anyway, no. But yeah, and from there, spending time with my wife, sons, laid back, kind of like yourself.
Right.
When you leave the grind of the day, for me, it's sometimes doing nothing is exciting. Just
Right.
relaxing,
Chill.
enjoying. Yeah.
Sure.
So
I feel
yeah.
you.
All right.
Well, I'm super glad. I'm super glad you joined us, and I just want to say we didn't talk that much about your game, and I think Paul will agree with me on this from watching you guys practice. But I think Xavier fans are really going to like you, particularly because your effort level, the intensity that you play with. I mean, I've never seen a guy who doesn't give up on a rebound like you. So I think if you take what we've seen in practice over the summer and you take it out there on the court, these fans are really going to like you. So I appreciate you coming on the show.
Appreciate y'all for having me.
Yeah, Basile, great having you finally on the show.
Yes,
And
sir.
we're looking forward to a great next 7 months together.
For sure.
Coach, we appreciate it. Basile, we appreciate it. Adam. Coach, by the time this show comes out in 2 weeks, no more weddings for me till May. This weekend and next weekend. Then that's
Wow.
it till May. What a layoff, right?
Yeah, no,
Things calm
it's
down.
amazing. Yeah.
Crazy. All right. Until next time, we want to thank everybody for watching here on the Sean Miller Podcast. As always, we thank our presenting sponsor, Deer Park Roofing, and the official payroll sponsor of the Sean Miller Podcast, Payroll Partners. We'll see you next week on the Sean Miller Podcast.
This has been the Sean Miller Podcast, presented by Deer Park Roofing, with your hosts, Paul Fritchner and Adam Baum. Join us again soon for another episode with the head coach of the Xavier Musketeers, Sean Miller.